Hello, everyone, and welcome to another virtual meetup. Before we get started, we're going to do our usual agenda. So real quick, my name is Olivia. I'm a DevRel program manager. I'm also joined by Justin.
Hello, how's it going? Justin here at Elastic.
Perfect. Okay, so we have some upcoming events. These are just for US, Latin America, and Canada. We have our full list of global events on our meetup dashboard, which I will post a link to here shortly. But yeah, holiday season's coming up, so a little bit less of an active meetup schedule, but we'll be coming in full force after the holidays as well. What else? Okay, next. Okay, we have our usual meetup raffle. Just a quick raffle if you're interested in winning some Elastic swag. I will pick the winner after the meetup wraps up today and contact you directly. I will also post this link in the chat once we get started with the presentation. But other than that, just a few things. We have our usual resources I wanted to cover. So our Elastic community YouTube channel, this is a great resource to find content. We have all of our virtual meetups on our channel as well as solution-focused videos, beginners content, Elasticsearch 101, all that. So keep an eye on the YouTube channel, subscribe to be notified of new content. Discuss is an awesome forum to get your questions answered by the Elastic team, by the community. You can also help out other Elastic users by answering their questions as well. And then, of course, our Slack workspace, similar. You can get your questions answered. You can get notified of upcoming product releases, updates, all that. So be sure to check out these resources. I will post the links to those in the chat. Okay, what now? So if you are interested in presenting at a meetup, whether it be in person or virtually, feel free to reach out. We're always looking for individuals who would like to share their Elastic use case, whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, all are welcome. So please email meetups@elastic.co. Again, you can also find a list of all our upcoming in-person and virtual meetups on our meetup dashboard as well. And with that, I will turn it over to Vishal, who will be presenting Harnessing Elastic for AI-Powered Research and International Development. So, Vishal, you have the stage.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Olivia, and thank you, Justin, for both of you for arranging this, for having us, and thank you to Elastic for making our platform possible, and thank you to everyone joining us today. We're very excited to present to you, at least give you an introduction to what we built with Elastic as a fundamental ingredient, a critical component of our platform, and how we hope that it makes a difference in the development community and the development institutions who this platform is designed for. And it's an exciting use case for AI, for retrieval augmented generation, and also and all those capabilities are highlighted because Elastic makes them almost trivially possible for you to bring to your platforms and to your products. So we're called DevDiscovery, and we are a platform designed for development research. And just to give you an idea of what development research means, these are organizations that you may be familiar with, but you don't quite know what they do, such as the World Bank, such as the United Nations, UNESCO. And there are lots of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Johns Hopkins has an NGO and a foundation that works on healthcare initiatives around the world. And these are organizations that need a lot of access to information, to knowledge. And all of this knowledge is very hard it's expensive to generate, it's very hard to curate, it's very hard to retrieve, and it's very hard to make it useful. Just to give you an idea, every time a new project is proposed by people at the World Bank or people at these other development institutions, these projects have to be inspired by, informed by, educated by all the prior work that has come in the field. And it would be so much better and so much more efficient if they could benefit from all that information that already has happened, all the projects that have happened before them, so that they can design their project and what they call interventions better, so that they can make the world, they can have an impact in communities, in countries, in regions where this work is, where this development work is needed the most. Okay. So what is the problem with the current state of the art when it comes to knowledge management, as it's called? There is a lot of knowledge that's created. The world is a very dynamic place. These institutions, banks, foundations, they do a lot of interesting work in many different ways, in climate, in gender equity, in nutrition, in maternal mortality, in entrepreneurial encouragement. All of these fields, there's a lot of work that happens and a lot of knowledge. The results of these interventions are actually added or created or captured in these reports that are then published on these websites, but no one has access to them, or very few people are able to even figure out where to get this data. So there's a lot of knowledge. There's way too much knowledge, but it's very hard to make sense of all of this knowledge. The big problem is that the knowledge is scattered in various silos. Some of this knowledge is really accessible through the websites that these organizations run, but no one has the ability or the bandwidth to go to all of these different websites and do the work that's needed to download all this information, read through all of these documents. And so the act of knowledge retrieval, which is searching through and sifting through all this information, is very labor intensive, it's very time consuming, and overall it's very unproductive. So we'd like to make that better. And the new projects that these institutions and the people at these organizations design, we would like them to be designed with an enlightened, informed by all the work that has happened before. And so that's what we're hoping to do. Just to give you an idea of the scope of the problem, there was a World Bank report that was published in 2014 that looked at all the reports that were published that the World Bank published between 2008 and 2012, and they found that 87% of those reports were downloaded less than 250 times, and 31%, which is almost a third of these reports, never get downloaded. And the cost of those reports that never get downloaded was estimated at $93 million. $93 million was spent on creating reports and documents that never ever saw the light of day, that no human eyes ever saw those reports. And this is at the cost of about $180,000 per report. And that is a lot of money that could have been better used for development work to make the lives of ordinary people better. And this money is also not money that belongs to these development institutions. There are donors that give the money to these institutions. So I'm sure the donors would like these resources to be much better utilized. And so this is a big problem that right now we'd like to be able to solve. And so we built our solution. This is our solution, and we call it DevDiscovery. It's an AI-powered platform for discovering knowledge, specifically for these professionals who work at these institutions. The big, unique strength that we offer to this community is that we have built the only unified and curated knowledge store of documents, reports, publications, data from all of these organizations that's publicly available. We have unified it and put it in one single place. That one single place happens to be Elastic, and we have curated this information so that when you do a web search, for example, you get access to all kinds of data that's on the web, and it's up to you to be able to sift through and determine what is high quality versus poor quality information. We've done that already for you, for our users. The other thing that we have realized is that the quality of this data sometimes is very patchy. So documents and PDFs get uploaded, the metadata is missing, sometimes there's no summary, sometimes there's no tagging that identifies whether this report is relevant to regions in Africa, whether it has to do with maternal mortality. So all of that, the metadata is very patchy and sometimes missing. So we've done a lot of work. This is the second strength that we bring to this community, is that we've used AI models to augment this information. Where summaries are missing, we generate summaries from documents so that you can see a brief summary of the document. Where taxonomy about the subject matter of the document is missing, we use our models, we use our custom models to extract those that taxonomy. And we make it all available through search and through conversational retrieval. This is now expected. People expect to use search engines and knowledge retrieval systems using natural language. So that's what we provide. And we provide dynamic interaction, a very nice UI. We also give you versatile query inputs. You can query it, and you can query our knowledge store in many different ways. Simple keywords, you can take document abstracts, you can take descriptions of your programs that you've already designed, and if all you have is a description, you can put it into our system, and it'll give you you can ask the platform for various different kinds of reports, it'll give them to you. Or you can take entire PDFs and upload them, and you can say, give me more documents that look like this document. Okay, and this is just a small sampling of the various organizations whose data and documents we have gathered, we curated, we built pipelines to gather data from all of these organizations and add them to our index, to our Elastic index, in various different ways, and I'll mention that shortly. And overall, our corpus right now, from all of these different kinds of data, is about 500,000 records and continues to grow. We're constantly adding new organizations, small and big and medium size, to our corpus, and we're up to 500,000, and we are expecting to grow by another 3 or 4% just this month. Okay. And we've added, this is, in addition to the curation that we've, and this is just a small vignette of the AI and ML algorithms that we've implemented on top of this, on top of our knowledge set. We identify topics, we classify text, we understand the query that the user is trying to send to us, so that we can better match the user query to their documents, to their data. We enrich the metadata, as I mentioned earlier. We've added a lot of personalization on top of that. We create summaries, and of course we have large language models that we also use to give you a better result. Okay, and because we're all technical here, this is a overview of the document pipeline that we've built, and this to me is the hard work that we've added. This is the one big pillar that we bring to the table. This is the pipeline that's very expensive to build, and we pull the data. We have a web crawler that we built that crawls data from all of these organizations. We have a data set. We have a database of all these documents so that we can continue to refresh our data set. We download these documents. We even do OCR on documents that are not possible to parse. We detect the language. We do translations so that you can access the documents and the data in the language of your choice. We also do country detection. We classify sectors. We figure out what topics this document is relevant to. And then we do summarization, where summaries of these documents are missing. And then finally, when we've done all of this, we add the documents to our vector store and to our search index so that you can access it either way, either conversationally or through regular search. And this is how we use Elastic, which is the sort of, as I mentioned, the fundamental ingredient, the fundamental pillar of how we built this platform. And Elastic has made our product possible to build with a very, very small team. We use Elastic Cloud. Right now we're deployed in GCP's US Central 1, which is in Iowa, because most of our customers, our initial set of customers, are expected to be in the Washington, D.C. area. That's where all the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations and governmental organizations are. So that's where we've done our initial deployment on the east, in Central, and we're also looking to the East Coast for our next deployment. We have about 15 indexes that we're up to, and it's grown rapidly, this number. We have everything from full text to unstructured to a percolation index to a semantic index as well. And as I already mentioned, we're up to 500,000 index documents, which translates to about 4 million plus records in VectorDB, and of course it's growing. And the vectorizer that we're using is the Elasticlearn sparse encoder, ELSER, the V2 version of that model. And this entire model, which is very, very capable for doing our semantic searches, is only run on 2 processors with 4 gigabytes of memory. And one of the things that I was blown away with was the inferencing time for each query is right now averaging at about 175 milliseconds. This is blazingly fast. Like I said, these are the 2 things that make it all work. The data in the pipeline are our secret sauce, our special ingredient that we bring to the table. It's high quality, it's curated content. We do a lot of complex metadata enrichment, as I showed you in our pipeline. We have custom models that we build for extracting the various facets and the various attributes and the metadata of the document on top of the metadata that the organizations already provide. We do our own text classification, we do our own topic identification. The other little thing that we did was the chunking algorithms. We have custom chunking for different document types, and we also have to do custom chunking for different organizations. So we've tuned even our chunking strategy to the various document formats and types that we get. And then we have a very, very peculiar way that we integrate, that we call LLMs with the right set of context from our RAG, and how we augment that context is also very interesting. But the rest is all Elastic magic. It's search indexes, Elasticsearch relevant engine, the ELSER inferencing service, and the massive speed and the reliability of the platform has been incredible for us. I won't cover this. Okay, I will briefly talk about what's upcoming in near term. We have more sources that we're adding. We have more sources that we continue to add, of course. We are also adding web searching so that you can directly from our website, you can type your queries, you don't have to switch back and forth. We are adding what we call impact insights. What is the impact that your project is having? More AI, because you can never have enough AI. The conversational and generative piece is already there. And then eventually, once we get more users onto the platform, we'd like to build a social network so that people can connect, experts in the field of health, nutrition, and so on, can connect to each other and share insights. And that's about it. That's a little overview of DevDiscovery. I would love to give you a quick little demo, if that's okay, Olivia, Justin.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Feel free to switch over to your browser with the same present button and everything.
Okay, all right. Let me. All right. So I hope you're able to see my screen. I won't make this. Okay. I won't make this too prolonged, but I'll give you a sense of what the product looks like. So this is our main landing page once you've logged in, and you can see that this is right now our default experience is our search experience, because that's what we started with. But we also have a chat button here that's going to become the default very soon. And I'll only do one query each to show you our search capability. So I'll do my favorite query, which is climate change. And there you go. That's the speed at which the platform works, and that's made possible by Elastic. And you can see our documents have, we've organized, we know which organizations these documents are from. You can filter by the specific organization that you're interested in. These are the regions that came back. These are the various countries whose documents have been the most relevant. These are the sectors that the system was able to find. And these are, of course, the topics. So if you're interested in climate change and urban development, you can check this checkbox and narrow down your results. And of course, you can filter by date. And then on the top, this other axis, we've organized the documents that you've just seen into financing documents, publications from that the organizations publish on their own websites, peer-reviewed publications from other institutions that actually do, just journals that publish documents that publish these papers. Then we have structured data, where you can actually get access to data sets that are relevant to your query, and of course multimedia that we've drawn from these various organizations, and Bing News, as I mentioned, so that you get climate change related results from Bing News search, and then evaluations. These are as I mentioned before, project evaluations. That are after the fact, after the project is completed, they evaluate the impact of the project. You can get access to that, so you can understand if doing a project a certain way is actually going to be more impactful or less impactful than something else. And then economic publications, and then these are the experts once we get going. You can do not just text, but you can also upload documents to do a search, and this search is also supported by Elastic. It's been super capable for us. And then I'll show you, of course, our AI, our conversational retrieval. And we get one of my favorite queries is this. Propose components for a project focused on improving maternal health and child nutrition. And what I'd like to do is use financing.
Well, if I could interrupt you real quick, would you be able to increase the size of
sure.
the text?
Is
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah,
okay.
That's great.
All right. So it's thinking, churning our pipeline. We've done our search against the Elastic Index. And now we're using our LLMs, which right now is Anthropic's Claude, the latest, the one before the latest version, and we're feeding it context. So from the Elastic Index that we've drawn, so that it can generate this response for us. And here comes the response, and you can see it's based on the provided context, which is what we got from our Elastic Index. It's given us a response saying you should look for this particular project. You should look at expanding coverage of essential health and nutrition services, community-based health and nutrition interventions, and so on. So, and then for each of these, where it found a citation, it has provided that alongside the text. We're trying to make this a little bit better, so we present the information in a more clickable way. But all of these references are also listed at the bottom, as you would expect. Now, I'll do one last query before I cede the stage, which is have a follow-up query. Elaborate on the social business model integration in the context of a project focused on improving maternal health and child nutrition. And this is to emphasize that we built a conversational capability where you can continue to ask questions, and we continue to augment the context with more and more relevant information. So you don't have to switch browser, you don't have to switch between ChatGPT or Google search or something else. You can do all of your research in one place, and you can have a conversation with our platform at the same time. And so here's the elaboration of that we asked for, the social business model integration, which is how do you focus on sustainable service delivery, empowering local communities, and so on, and technology integration, of course. So I'll stop there. Thank you for listening. I'd be happy to take questions.
This is absolutely fantastic work, I have to say. Thank you so much for presenting this demonstration.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. I'll open up some questions for YouTube. If you have any, please feel free to actually enter them in the chat. I have a couple questions, just talk shop about Elastic. First of all, perfect use case. You're like the dream client of ours, I have to say. Can you kind of walk me through the process of what led you to decide to use Elser as your choice?
So Elser was the second model that we picked. There was another embedding model that I had built with some friends that we first tried, and we were getting to the point where it was just getting that model fine-tuned and trained was proving to be very backbreaking work. And it was expensive to train our own model. And then we looked at we thought, why don't we use something that's better, that's something that's available out of the box and something that works really well. And so we started looking for off-the-shelf embedding models. And Elser was one of the ones that we evaluated and tested. And in terms of the performance against our own model and against some other embedding models that we tried, it was hands down the better one, the best one that we had at the time, and it still continues to get better. The V2 is really, really good, and the fact that you can deploy it so easily and the inferencing performance is something I couldn't match with any other models that I had. So that's how we ended up with Elser, and right now we're super happy with it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. And the fact that you're able to use that model with an Elastic, with an inference pipeline, I imagine just makes everything just seamless.
Very seamless, yeah, totally.
That's fantastic. We did not pay Vishal, by the way, to say any of this, too. This is all organic. We do have a question from First Economist. What is the generator feature on your website? Your website mentions that generate works with structured data. Would you be able to walk us through that a bit?
Yes. So I should have given a demo of that as well. And I'll see if I have a useful query. But one of the challenges that people have. So imagine you're interested in looking at a graph of the GDP of Bangladesh or Nigeria or any other country or the United States. You can ask ChatGPT, and there was a time when ChatGPT would hallucinate a lot of data or would say, I don't know. This data is available in the World Bank data sets that they provide for free on their website. What we've done is we've taken those data sets and we've added them to our corpus with links back to their websites. But you are now, when you ask a question, we fetch that data from our Elastic Index and we feed it to the LLM so that the LLM can then draw a chart for you. We also give you the ability to, there's a little link that you can get next to the chart, which will allow you to download an Excel spreadsheet or CSV file that you can then use to do your own analysis. Now, the next iteration of this generate capability, by the way, for us, the generate is you can generate entire project documents or project proposals from our tool. Also, you can do analysis with data. What we're starting to add right now, and maybe in the next month or so, we have this capability where you'll be able to create charts where you can say, can you show me a chart of the GDP of India and China, for example, on the same thing? Can you make this a bar chart instead of a line chart? Can you make the bars green and red instead of blue and yellow or something like that? So, and this is of course capability that Claude provides today, that we're hoping to bring to. It's not quite perfect yet, but we add our own wrapper on top of it, and we provide that capability on our platform as well.
It's very, very interesting. So I'm thinking of a use case, and I saw that you had that document tab where you can actually upload a PDF. That's fantastic because I believe that gives a lot of your users a lot of power. One of my little projects I'm always working on is I have a friend who works in the mental health care facilities in my state. It's not a state-driven entity, but they need to adhere to state regulations and state policies to make sure that they're running per the state's requirements. So they are actually pouring through very dry, boring, state-generated PDF files. And I told them, like, well, if your company allows it, you should consider having some sort of, chat program or some sort of, chat implementation to be able to interpret and pull through those PDFs. So when a user signs up for your service and uploads these documents, is that saved for their profile, or is this kind of like a use once, or how does that work?
So right now there's a limit to how many documents you can add to our context, but we're hoping to make that window, the context window, bigger and bigger and bigger. We don't currently save those documents to our corpus. All the documents that we currently have in our index are all public documents. We will not take your document and add it to our index. We will only use it for your query, for your session, and after that we forget about it. But all the institutions that we are talking to would like the capability to not just use the public documents, but also to marry them with their own internal documents that they don't want to share or not ready to share with the rest of the world, and they want these capabilities to be somehow married. So that's another capability that we don't have today, but we're going to have to build for multiple organizations. So potentially, the organization that your friend works with could be served once we have that capability.
That's very, very interesting. I'm definitely going to share your site with them so they can get excited. And one thing that I'm always interested in is because I did some electrical work on my house, and I wanted to find, I wanted to do everything in code. So of course I looked up my state's electrical code system. It's all publicly available, and I was like, wow, I could try, crawling this site. But a government entity's publicly available documents, while they're there, are sometimes on a very archaic server or very difficult to interact with. Could you talk about, this might not be your actual challenge, but crawling the web for these sites, was that a challenge at all, or was it just easy peasy? How was your experience?
Oh, it was frustrating, annoying, anger-inducing. It was all of those things. And then sometimes we were surprised because these organizations had a nice API that allowed you to query the documents because, in the best case, you can simply send a query to their document index. They'll send you a list of documents, and you can request each of those individual documents and compare it to what you already have, and you can get what the new stuff that they've added. But many times we didn't have that. So we had to keep track of, we had to build it. For each organization, sometimes we had to build a separate crawler. And this crawler would have to go sometimes just crawl their website. And there are libraries available in Python that allow you to do, there's one called Spacey, there are a few Scrapey, there are quite a few libraries. We've tried them all. And we patched together the right set of things in order to be able to crawl all of these different websites. And sometimes they rate limit you, which is one of the reasons why we have to keep cranking our pipelines over and over again. Sometimes we literally have to scrape their screen in order to find the links that we expect where we can actually get the documents. So it was the most frustrating part, and after we got through that, we realized that no one should have to do this again. So let us be the one the team that takes the pain of doing this crawling. It was one of the hardest pieces of the puzzle.
I can definitely imagine. I've been playing, to kind of course, advocate to the developer about the features of Elastic. I've been using our web crawler that's built into Elastic, and it is robust. It is powerful, but it does require a lot of care and feeding, monitoring and fine tuning as you go along. So I can only imagine the challenges that you had with the full body of this program.
Yeah. Every organization presents its own challenges, and they change too. Their IT folks will make changes to their website, and break our crawler. So like you said, the care and feeding is constant.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for presenting, your work. This is an amazing project. I mean, I always love seeing, machine learning and AI for good, for knowledge expansion and for access to all these documents. That is so exciting, and I know I'm gonna start playing with this. I am gonna leave the chat open a little bit longer on YouTube to see if anybody has any questions. First Economist, he's up with us. Great presentation, thank you. That's so good to see. And then right at the beginning, he also said, very interesting use case. I agree 100%.
Thank you.
Are there, what is the best way to follow your progress with DevDiscovery and kind of follow DevDiscovery's, growth? Do you have like a Twitter handle or anything like that? How do we consume updates from you?
So right now we are on everybody's perhaps least favorite social network, LinkedIn. You can follow us there. We have a page set up. I'll also share my email with you if you wanted to post it on the with this video. But yeah, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have First Economist would like to get a better demo of our product to see what economic content we have, because we do have those publications, we'd be happy to show them that as well.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take it easy.